The multiverse, let's talk about it. The Bible implies that above us space is filled with water. And vice versa, below us we are also filled with water. So there is no escape except for fish that breathe underwater and are accustomed to salty oceans. And scientists say that what keeps us on Earth is gravity, and what prevents us from traveling in space is the environment hostile to humans, to their way of life and functioning. This is why God would keep us here below in Eden, or the planet Eden. The day we leave Eden, we are not sure to find a similar place to live. This was the case for Adam and Eve, however. They certainly left the original Eden via a transportation portal guarded by the cherubim. But they managed to find an environment similar to Eden outside of Eden the First or Eden Zero, whatever the spelling. Their teleportation implies two things. Either they had to die to get out of it and teleport as God told them, "The day you eat this fruit you will die." So either they died a first time, or there are parallel worlds and universes via portals. These places or planets would all be similar to the livable environment of Eden. I opt for both options. That is to say that through death our spirit teleports, and similarly through sleep we frequent these parallel worlds. I told you about my teleportation experiences when I was a child. That is why I believe in it and why I can talk about it. There are worlds parallel to this one. You just have to find the portals where God is to make them appear. So not only can we teleport from universe to universe like in the Sliders series, but we can supposedly also teleport from country to country or from city to city. Admit that it is utopian, but that it would suit us well as a means of transport. There are sliders, but there is also Stargate, which does the same. Never forget that we draw our imagination from a part that is real and verifiable, but also from a part that we call faith. Faith opens doors to the imagination, and faith opens doors to God. It would be haughty for God to want to lock us in a plastic tube when the multiverse exists. Anyway, I believe in God, but I am God myself. Believing in God does not mean questioning His existence, for that everyone believes in His existence. On the contrary, believing in God means believing in His projects, believing in His plans, believing in His stories, believing in everything that defines God. That is why there are non-believers. Non-believers in His word as well as non-believers in His promises. And others who confuse Him with the devil. It is true that in my case God and the devil are the same. I do not judge anyone. I do not say that they are wrong or that they may be right. I believe in my experience of living with God. I know that it is He who guided my path and prepared my life. You see, there are planes that disappear in flight without their wrecks being found. This happens in certain key places called lawless zones or surveillance zones. These zones are most of the time over the oceans. This is why planes always fly close to a landing field and continent. They say it is for emergencies. Flying over the oceans is only for relatively short trajectories compared to the extent of the ocean. Everyone remembers Malaysia Airline Flight 370 that disappeared on March 8, 2014. Or the pseudo-kidnappings of young children. I said pseudo-kidnapping not to shock the community, but sometimes it is a real disappearance and not a kidnapping. Teleportations like the baby Pokemon Abra does so well when it sees danger. It is a psychic Pokemon, and like everything that is involves the mental. Like telekinesis, for example, or remote-controlled people. I took my example of me as a child. I was like Abra. The world is mental because it originates from the brain and its imagination. There are those who experience a coma, that is to say that they are both dead and alive. They are also as if disconnected from reality. When they probably wake up, sometimes they keep after effects like memory problems, and sometimes they keep memories of it, good as disgusting. By the way, how does a blind person see? I want to say by identifying landmarks and the impression of the mind that has retained the surroundings. But I am not blind myself, so you would have to ask them. I imagine that it is by a routine of life and the locomotion of short journeys. To return to the initial subject of universes and multiverses, I would like to talk about the crucial point that led me to elaborate on this subject. First of all, it is water. You know how essential water is to life. According to the Bible, water would be hidden in the entire universe. But man is not a fish that lives in water. In the universe of man after birth, air also becomes his reality. So there is air in water and water in air. H2O and O2. This is why the cities of gold are not just about the quest for gold. But as in the name of the series 10, or the O could mean the water of the ocean, just as the R leads us to conclude the air of the oceans, therefore the oxygen. The OR of X would therefore be for the exit of the air by the firmament, and the X visibly the interest of the forbidden, therefore the curiosity. Or simply the X of extraterrestrial or even extra body and extra planet. We will end up knowing. There is a saying that says to make the most of your life, carpe diem. And as Toriko says, the interest of the universe is too vast. So let's enjoy it as much as we can, because all experiences are useful for the formation of stars.